So I pick, and I'm gonna butcher this name, um, Chad Tal- Tahaski,
Zelensky.
Talinski,
Zelensky.
yeah, Skalinski. He's known for the John Wick series. Very simple. So I want to do something simple with it. Like, if you've never seen John Wick, it's just basically kind of like a guy got out of the game and he got to get back into the game due to a certain thing that happened. His dog died, and he has to go back in to get payback, and so he can finally get out of the game. It's kind of like having a job. You want to switch career? Well, you got to stay in the game first before you got to get out, right? Now, I think that so far we haven't really had a character focused movie yet. I mean, the only one we know so far in the Star Wars is a Solo, and then the Obi-Wan, right? Like, we don't get, and okay, Boba Fett, you can throw that in there, but I don't count Mandalorian because like he wasn't like a main character. He's just a Mandalorian. Anyways, we haven't got a new character like this, and I think they should just have fun with it and be goofy with it. And one of the stories I wish they did in the Star Wars universe, because the problem with, I think, with 4, 5, and 6 was you never got the answer of what happened other than the story told you at the beginning, but you never really got comfort answers of what happened between Empire and Return of the Jedi. Return of the Jedi just went straight into something else, but you never knew like what happened to Luke and Layla and all this. What happened from point A to point B to that point, right? And that's Shadow of the Empire. Shadow of the Empire never really get talked about. And the reason why I didn't get talked about because that story came out a little bit later. Mark Hamill's too old for that part and whatnot. But if you haven't read it, now it's the story in between that, and you get to find out how how Han Solo got to Boba Fett after being, whatever that procedure that is that made him like a stone thing or stone coffin or whatever. You never found out what led him to that or how Boba Fett got it to him and everything like that, and what Luke and the gang were doing to do that. And one character that they never talk about, which, by the way, if you want to learn a little bit more about this character, you can also play Shadow of the Empire on N64. And that's Dash Rendar. Dash Rendar was his temporary Han Solo character that was with the gang for a minute. And he even called out Han Solo saying that, I think Chewbacca's really the brains of the operation. I think he's the one that carries the team. I don't think you really do anything. But Dash Rendar is the one that helps Luke infiltrate the base to try to find out where Han Solo was and all this stuff. And we don't know a lot about his character, so it'd be kind of cool to learn his backstory of what led him to that, as him just being this goofy guy that just runs around just causing trouble and having fun with it. We haven't had a crazy fun Star Wars story. It's always been kind of like more of a serious Han Solo. I don't think it was really super fun to me. I think it was just more of like, here's the origin story. But we never had one that's just kind of off the wall having fun. And I think that this director, the John Wick, I think he can have fun with that, especially with the action scenes that we've seen from the John Wick, to see Dash Rendar do these fun over-the-top ideas and stuff. So yeah, I would love to see a Dash Rendar. Are you familiar with this character or the story of Shadow of the Empire?
I don't think so. Not off the top of my head.
Okay.
But I think when I read this, and I think this was kind of one of your inspirations of actually doing this idea, because you were thinking this and James Cameron for sure. Initially, when we first talked about this months ago, I think it would be really kind of fun, because I agree, Han Solo is not the guy to do a John Wick style movie out of this, because he seems more of a brawler to me.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, when we see John Wick, we think of Keanu Reeves and we think of Gung Fu but being able to see that happen in this world would be actually kind of fun, especially if you're talking about like bounty hunters or somebody that's completely different, because we don't know, in all the different worlds there could be this BA Gung Fu guy who you don't need to shoot from 30 feet away. You can shoot from 2 feet away with a laser and you'll be fine. Whether he's a good guy or whether he's a bad guy, it doesn't really matter, because I think it'd just be kind of fun either way to play around with it. And I think that would be an interesting story. And actually, I would say interesting story. I think it would just be good fun.
Yeah.
and I think that's where we wanted to go. And I think honestly, that's where you and I went with this. Our last choices on this is that we kind of want to have some fun with this. I think our first two choices were very like, this is what we want you to like feel. We want you to feel this. And the last two choices I think you and I had were more like, we're gonna have some fun with this. Like, I don't know how it's gonna work, but we're gonna have some fun.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, Die Hard and Disney. Of course, we want to see Die Hard and Disney.
That's a good one. That actually makes sense for this one. Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, John Wick in space. Hell yeah, why not?
Yeah. There you go.